Good morning, everyone. Let me check the date. I knew it was the 21st, but I questioned myself. So today is the date that we call the 21st. It's the day that we call Tuesday. It's the month that we call October. And it's the year that we call 2025. So I am back to do a reading. I've got you set up on this angle again because I don't know if my heater is louder this year or if my phone's just picking it up different than it usually does. I mean, I could always hear the humming during the months that I run the heat on the videos, but the two videos prior to the video that I did yesterday, when I got on to read you guys' comments, the video pulls up and I was reading the comments. And it sounded like static. It just sounded awful. So that's why I've changed our angle here and we're working a little bit differently. I got you moved just a little ways away from it. But when I sit here and the camera is facing the wall there, you're a little closer to it. So I was hoping this would help. But a couple of you said that you don't even notice it anyway. So that's good. That's good. But I think we've kind of figured out the angle a little bit, and I hope that you're all having a wonderful morning. I'm a little late to the game this morning. It is 7:27 a.m. here. Normally when I would have been getting on this earlier this morning, I was reading the comments. I spent some time reading the comments. So I'm a little later to the game. After I get this done, I'll get on with my day, but I don't have appointments for a little bit, so we're good. All right, so first I want to say don't follow any links in the comment section of the channel soliciting you for anything ever, no matter who it is, whether they're pretending to be me or someone else. Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Those are scammers. Secondly, I want to say the healing intentions are always set for you folks. Always, always, always. And if you so choose and you want that, stand in your power and decree it for your highest and greatest good, only and always. All right, so next I want to say thank you for all the well wishes and sending me the encouragement, to keep on keeping on here as we face our home fixing challenge. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate, I just appreciate all of you. I appreciate all of you and the interaction. And I'm sorry to hear that some of you are going through home repair issues too, because that's challenging and expensive, and just not what any of us want to have to be facing and dealing with, for sure. But for everybody that's facing challenges, whether it's health challenges, home improvement challenges, emotional challenges because of separation from family or friends or whatever, no matter what the challenge is, I am sending you all the highest vibes in that your challenges can be faced and healed with as little effort and as little financial challenge as absolute possible. And I hope that you're all feeling better, and I hope I would love for the world to just be easy for all of us. But on the other hand, I know that we came here to experience these challenges for the experience. So it is what it is, I guess, you guys, huh? If it wasn't if it wasn't for our experiences and our challenges, we wouldn't grow, we wouldn't learn, we wouldn't appreciate. There's so much that we get out of these times. Although they just feel awful when you're in them, and when you've gone through them and you get to the other side, it's easier to see the blessings in it. But I think it's really important that we try to find the blessing in it as it's happening, so that we can stay more balanced. You know what I mean? I had to get a sip of my coffee, you guys. So the first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to get one card, and we're going to see what the universal energy that is over us is. So with one card, only the truth is welcome here, right? We are connecting, all of us, our higher selves are all coming together. All of our spiritual teams, those that are here that have our highest and greatest good for intentions only and always, that are helping us, that are guiding us, that are enlightening us, and agreed to come here and look over us while we do this thing called life, are coming together. And of course, our Creator, the Creator of all in creation, that loves all in creation, that which we are plucked out of, that we came from, that which we radiate out of us, that which we channel through us and ground into earth, the Creator of all in creation, the Creator of Most High. We're asking all of them to come here and join us and give us only the truth, and obviously help me to receive those messages and be able to deliver them clearly and accurately. So what we want right now is just the overall energy that we're working with in the moment. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the overall, the biggest energy that's kind of working, blanketing the earth right now that we're working with. Let's get a look at that energy. Please and thank you with one card out of the Deviant Moon deck. Let's see what we get. And one more shuffle. And we'll cut them. And we'll see what we've got for an overall energy that we're all working with right now. Oh, well, that's nice. A balance in energy. Simplicity. So this is the Four of Rods in my Deviant Moon deck. Sorry about the glare. It's a rainy morning, so even though it's later in the morning, 7:33, it's still kind of really dark and dreary because we're getting the rain that we need so much. So this, sorry about the glare, you guys, but this is the Four of Rods out of the Deviant Moon deck, and you can see the love and simplicity there. So the overall energy that we're working with that is hovering us right now is the work that creates a semblance of balance, right? So there's an energy over us, blanketing us, that is working to help create balance, which is wonderful. We need that. We've been really off kilter and very imbalanced and very divided. So this is the work to create that balance. And you'll see the outcome if you look down. You'll see how these people have come together in love and simplicity. So that's the overall energy that's working with us, you guys. To bring people back together, to create a semblance of balance, to join people together in simplicity. Now, I'm just going to say, I've had several conversations around this macrocosm, microcosm recently because of a particular situation that caused an issue for me. Because I'm just me, you guys. I'm just me, right? And I'm sure that all of you are just you. And a lot of the things that I will like talk about, because I'm so spiritual and my life literally revolves around my creator and my spiritual team and my journey here and what am I learning and how am I healing and what can I do to be of more service to this earth and myself and my clients and my family. It's basically who I am, right? And so being me apparently sometimes is offensive to people who are more on the left because they've politicized everything. And so for me, I'll be having a spiritual conversation because that's who I am. And oh, it has to somehow be offensive to them because they've somehow politicized it. So whatever, I'm telling you. The emotional resilience of the people that are way far left, it's scary to me because it doesn't seem as though they have any. And so apparently in the midst of one of the way my head was working, I thought I was having a spiritual conversation. I was apparently offensive to somebody who has apparently zero emotional resilience because they found it to be politicized. And I don't know, I don't know what to tell anybody except for that I'm me and I'm not going to walk on eggshells and I'm not going to pretend to be me. I'm not going to pretend to not be me. And honestly, as long as I'm not being hateful to anybody or trying to hurt anybody, or saying things that are insulting to somebody or whatever, if I'm just having just this conversation because something triggered a memory which then triggered another memory, which then triggered a connection to source, and how these little children today are so psychic. If that has to be turned political and I'm found offensive because of it, I don't want to be around these people. I don't want to pretend that I'm something I'm not. There's a Billy Joel song about all of these different masks that you put on for different people. Well, I don't own any masks. And I've always been that way. So for me, because I've always just been that way, people have either really liked me or they've really hated me. And that's the truth. Like, people have either been really drawn to me or really just, they don't care for me. And I can handle that. Like, I don't really care. I don't take too much offense. I realize that, I can only be me and my most authentic. I have to serve that authenticity, right? And though I can censor myself in certain areas, like obviously I'm not going to go into a church and swear, right? I don't have to swear. And so I can censor myself in those little ways, those microcosms, those little things. I can obviously, like, there's plenty that I can censor myself around. But when it comes to the big things, like, I've got to be me. I'm just me, like, and I don't know. We've gotten to a place where people are so divided over politics or their ideologies around their political views and how they identify. Basically, they identify as their political views or whatever, that you can't just have any type of conversation these days without some people on the far left that are very, 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 very liberal or very woke, without them somehow internalizing that, turning it around and making it political. Which, I just don't want to be around them, you guys. Because if I'm not trying to hurt someone's feelings and I'm not being mean, then I shouldn't have to worry about hurting someone's feelings. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's just too much. It's a burden that they expect us to carry because they don't have emotional resilience. And we all have our own burdens, don't we? I know I've just shared a few of my own burdens, just the physical burdens, right? And, I have many more other than that I haven't shared. And I know that all of you do too. So if you have your own burdens and now you're expected to carry somebody else's, that feels like too much. This tiptoeing and this walking around and, you can't be you. You have to put on a mask and pretend to be something that they are comfortable with. It's too much. And it's not fair. And I'm not going to do it. And I'm not going to not do that because I don't like these people. It's not that. It's not that I don't like these people. Some of them I have great love for. Some of them I don't know. So I'm indifferent. But I'm not going to pretend to be somebody else to make them feel comfortable, because it's not my job to make people feel comfortable in the world. It's not your job. It's not my job. It's our job personally to be to heal our traumas, to be conscious of our emotional triggers. It's our job to evaluate ourselves, and if we're being triggered, see what that is. Is that righteous or is that an old trauma? Are we assuming? Are we projecting? It's our job to look at all of that. It's not my job to make somebody who's not doing that type of work do that type of work. It's my job to do that type of work. And it's also very much my job to help people learn how to do that type of work if they're one of my clients and they want to learn how to do that type of work. But outside of that, it's not my job. It's not you guys' job, right? So it's not my job to teach somebody who's not emotionally resilient or conscious of their own triggers and their own traumas, that doesn't look within and see where that comes from, that is projecting and assuming onto other people. It's not my job to fix them. It's not my job to point out to them what's going on with them. It's their job to do that. But it's also not my job to walk differently in the world because they can't get their shit together. And it's unfair to ask that of me or any of you. And that's what we've all been asked of pretty heavily over the last 7 or 8 years at least. And it was a slow roll into it, right? And it's really unfair for people to expect us to be different for them, to make them comfortable. And it's the same on this side of the aisle. It's not the people on the far left's job to shift gears to make us comfortable. It's our work to look at, if we're uncomfortable with them, why that is. What is that triggering within us? What's unhealed that needs to be healed? Or have we experienced something where we're feeling something that's very righteous? And it's our job to do that work. But the truth of the matter is, this significant division that's happening in this world, how can you honestly, like I said, in the past I've been friends with people that saw things very differently than me, and that was okay. Nobody cared. There wasn't a push for the divide, because we had enough in common that was good, right? And if I talked about something that maybe they didn't agree with or whatever, it was just a conversation, and they could give me their opinion and I could give them theirs, and it didn't have to be, it never turned into, my feelings are hurt and you insulted me and you crossed boundaries and you deliberately hurt me and made me uncomfortable. It never turned into them going to their friends and bitching, or me going to my friends and bitching about the other. It was a much simpler time, right? That's what this card shows. A more simplistic way of being. Now, it's true. If you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, which has been a conversation that a friend of mine and I have been having, if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, you do have to really kind of be in alignment on the big issues. You're going to be living with them, raising a family with them, sharing a bed with them, sharing a life with them. You're going to have goals that the two of you need to meet together. So your big issues, you do need to be in alignment there to really have a relationship that works. And probably your best friend, who you spend the most time with, is going to, be more in alignment with things like that. But for instance, if I was in a relationship with somebody that did not believe in God, creator, spirit, vibration, that would be really hard for me, because that's like my whole life revolves around it. I mean, I'm outside shoveling dog poop, asking God, highest self and team to help me find it, right? It's really, I'm not kidding you. Like, I'm in constant conversation with with spirit, with that part of the work, that part of our reality. And so it would be very hard for me to be in a relationship with somebody who didn't believe any of that existed and sort of poo-pooed on my way of life. Because everything that I do around the house, even the way that I clean, the energy that I put into everything about me that emanates out of me is really, that's like the first thing about me, probably the biggest thing about me. If I were having children with somebody, my ex-husband and I, we really agreed on how to raise our child. We agreed on what a healthy, happy home would be for a child. We agreed that we wanted to make this always feel like a safe place for other people's children. We agreed on these big issues. We agreed on healthy food and, a particular way of living. It wouldn't have worked if those bigger issues, if we didn't agree on how to raise children. That obviously would have put a huge chasm between us. So there is the microcosm and the macrocosm, and people coming together to be more in a vibrational alignment. When it's certain things, the macrocosm is very important, like relationships. You should be able to talk to your mate about your political beliefs, your spiritual beliefs, your worldviews. You should agree with your mate on how to raise children, the importance of the earth, all of those types of things. If you're not in alignment on those issues, that's going to cause huge issues within the relationship. But honestly, my macrocosms shouldn't be such an issue for Joe Blow down the road, right? And they didn't used to be. And it's been blown up into a thing where it is. Like, never before in history did anybody come at me and approach me and want to know if I got a damn shot. People have been very invasive and very intrusive and overriding their, they have no boundaries. And they're pushing their belief systems onto people, and then you can't even have a regular conversation or what you think is a regular conversation in your head if if those people on that side of things see you as not like them, they're going to take whatever you said and they're going to politicize it, and they're going to have a problem with what you've said, and or the hat that you wore, or the anything. It's become so divided and so ridiculously so. And we need to heal that, because it's one thing, like I said, within personal, intimate, very, very close relationships, to have those macrocosms be in alignment. But the way that things have shifted today, like I said, you know, my neighbor 10 houses up shouldn't be so concerned with who I am politically, what I consider, what my political views are, what my medical views are. They shouldn't be so offended that mine might not match theirs. And that's where we've been at. So it looks like we have this energy that's coming over us, you guys, that is going to help heal some of this and bring some of us back together in simplicity. Now, does that mean that we're going to be able to sit down and have deep conversations with some of these people? Probably not. But it does mean that, you know, I could have a basic conversation about something that I'm considering sort of spiritual. Like I could say, you know, I could say something like, here's an example. The masks, some people are very, very, I think everybody's traumatized over these masks. Just going to put that out there, whether people want to admit it or not. So some people have been so traumatized from the days where the mask mandates happened that they've never taken them off, and they wear them when they're alone, in their car, even sitting in their yard. They have been traumatized. But other people have been too, because of the oppression that some of the people like us that didn't believe in the masks and had done the research, and we know that masks don't work and it was all a bunch of malarkey and it's a way to control people. And then me, from my spiritual side, slaves, they used to enslave people and throw masks on them to take away their identity, which shrinks their energy and their will to fight back. So I could see it from the spiritual aspect of things, but also a physical health issue, because you're breathing in, you're creating a bacteria on this mask that then you're breathing back into your lungs. It's also very moist air, which can cause pneumonia, right? Bronchitis. And you're creating this dirty bacteria there on that mask. It was also very irritating to many people's faces. They were getting rashes, breakouts, sores from having to wear these damn things constantly. And then on top of that, there's the whole breath, our life force energy, you know, the breath in our blood. These things keep us alive, right? So when we're hindering our breath, that does all sorts of things to us spiritually, physically, you know. So I'm looking at it from all of these aspects. I was very much against the mask. Plus, it is unlawful to force a medical apparatus on anybody here in a free country, and this is a free country, and a mask is a medical apparatus, and mandates are unlawful, and I could go on and on forever, because we're all on the same page there, right? But because of us all being on that same page, we can also see that sometimes when we hear that they're going to bring back the mask mandate, we get very angry, and that's righteously so. That means we need to move to, anger means move to create a change in the situation, right? So That means we need to move in a direction so that we can stop it from happening. And that's righteous. But when we see somebody wearing a mask, and we're triggered and it makes us angry or we're disgusted, that's a trauma response because of the oppression that we went through, knowing what we knew, and that oppression during that time. That's a trauma response. So that's a trigger. So that's something for us to heal. So there's a lot of trauma around the masks, right? So if we look at this card and we're seeing a simplistic energy coming in that's going to work to help to create balance. If masks got brought up and somebody who has different views than me was standing there and I said something like, it's just terrible how people have been traumatized around these masks, the simplicity of it would be that nobody would be offended, right? Nobody would take that offensively. They would see it as a compassionate statement. And even if they didn't think that people were traumatized, even if they weren't conscious enough or doing enough introspection so that they could see the trauma in the world just yet, they wouldn't find it offensive, right? So just bringing that simplicity back that we once had, but now we seem to not have because people lack emotional resilience. And everybody just wants to politicize everything. And nothing that you say cannot not be politicized. Whereas if I say today, it's just terrible how traumatized people have been over the masks. That would be politicized rather than somebody hearing it coming from that place of spirituality that I'm seeing it from, right? So this energy is going to help work to get us back together. And I know that I've spent a long time babbling, but I wanted to give examples of how this energy would be at work to bring this into being. Because it's not going to be that, oh, the whole world agrees with each other. It will be bringing us back to basics where we don't act like a bunch of crazy people. And that's like, it seems like the world went crazy, right? Mass hysteria. And yeah, so this energy is going to start helping bringing us back to a place where that crazy levels out. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. But until that happens, I am quite okay with not being around those people because I'm not going to be held accountable for their feelings, and I'm not going to not be me, and I'd just rather not deal with the crap. Because life is amazing, and I have so much to be grateful for that I don't need that pettiness dumping into my life for me to then have to try to sort out, clear away, and make better. I haven't. Life gives you enough. Life gives us enough lemons, right, to make our own lemonade. I personally don't feel that I need to be around those types of people that are just looking, it seems, for reasons to to be victims. And so until this energy has done its magic, I'm just going to keep to myself, and I'm going to enjoy my little world because it's a great one. And I don't want to be around anybody that's going to try to rain on my parade because everything's political and they have zero emotional resilience. I'm good. I am absolutely good with that. I wish them the best. I don't know how people got so soft. I I don't know, you guys, but they have. So there's going to be a lot of work there to do. That energy is going to have to hover us for a while, I think. So in knowing that that energy is at play, as we're sending our healing out and doing things like that, for those of you on this channel that do that, maybe that's something that we can help with. We can just see that balanced simplicity of this energy of this divide just dissolving, and people of all walks of life and political ideas and religious ideologies all just coming together, and we can just see people interacting, just see people interacting in a happy, healthy, normal way. I know that that will be part of what I'm doing, because I'm ready. I'm ready to get the crazy sort of moved aside. It's just been very challenging 7 or 8 years, and it's been especially challenging over the last 5. So with all of that ramble and babble, and I know that you all know where I'm coming from, because I know you've all experienced it. I know you've all experienced it, either with friends or with family, or, you know, you all have experience, so you understand what it was that I was just babbling about, and you understand what this energy is working to do. So now with that, let's take a look at the veterinarian medicine. And what I want to know, it's so important to me because I fight with the vet's office all the time. It's so hard. I think I just told you guys not that long ago I had another fight with the vets because I took my boy in for a wellness check, and as I'm on the phone, they want him to have kennel cough, they want him to have Bordella, they want him to have a Lyme vaccine, they wanted him to have a distemper. I think there was something else. And it's like, once again, I'm telling you, no, my boy's not getting all of this shit dumped into him. And they won't stop. You know, these are our core vaccines that we recommend because the science, blah, 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 blah. And then I went on to say, you know, dogs lived a lot longer lives before you started jacking them full of all this crap. And if you teeter a dog, you'll see that distemper and rabies will last them throughout their entire life. And you dump in the same dose into a big dog as you are a tiny dog. And there are things in these vaccines that are not good for them. And as far as that Lyme disease vaccine goes, it doesn't even show that it prevents Lyme. So what do they need that for? And my dog's not boarding. He's not going to be boarded. You know, my dog's not in a kennel, nor is he going to be going to a kennel. He does not need these things. And then I get more pushback, and, you know, I'm being told that everything that I'm saying is not scientifically proven. And I end up saying to him, and I suppose that you don't see the correlation between the rise in autism in children and the 76 vaccines that are dumped into them now before kindergarten. And I got hung up on. So, you know, I got hung up on. And then I said to my boyfriend, I said, women are treated different than men, and I'm not fussing about it. It's just true, right? It's just one of those things in the world that's true. Men and women are different. Women get treated differently, even by other women, than men get treated. So I said, you know, me as a woman in the world, and believe me, you guys, I can be very aggressive. Like I am very strong. And when I say aggressive, I mean to protect myself, defend myself, and fight for what I think is right. Assertive, I guess. I can be very assertive, and people know I'm no nonsense. But for some reason, as a woman, I always have to get my back up and go to that assertion, and sometimes be aggressive, because they'll come at my assertion aggressively, and I have to give that back in order to put them in their spot. And I feel like a no should be enough. No means no. I said no. I don't want those things for him. No, he's not getting those things. No, thank you. No. And yet it has to be pushback and pushback and pushback and get me to a point of, now I've got to rise. Now I have to be assertive. And, you know, it's always got to be a fight. So I said to my boyfriend, men are treated differently than women. It's just true. Do you think you can take the day off or get out early on the day that Luke goes in for his wellness check, so that when they approach me again about these damn vaccines, you speak up. And I bet they'll shut up. Like, it will be different. Like, it's exhausting always having to fight. You know what I'm saying? So he said, oh yeah, certainly I'll do that with you. So he did. He got out early, and we took Luke for his wellness check together. He was looked all over for any tumors, any growths. You know, they did the wellness check, make sure he's healthy. Which he is, by the way. Very healthy without all those damn vaccines, right? And yet somehow they always try to make me feel like a bad parent. So we get in there, and of course the vet tech and the vet gotta say it. They gotta say it, even though they've just been told, you know, 2 or 3 days prior when I was setting up the wellness check that no, we weren't going to do that. Now, are we going to be giving him his core vaccines today, they say. And Eddie said no. That's all he said. Nope. And you could see their faces. They didn't like the answer, but their mouths shut. Not another word was spoken. Not another word was spoken. So, if I'd have said it, they would have harped at me, and I would have had to have been assertive again, just like I was on the phone 3 days prior, just like I am every single time I take him in for anything. And you know, having my boyfriend come in with me that day was a relief, because then I didn't have to fight, because it's exhausting. But I know that my vet is a good person. You can see the way she interacts with animals that she loves them. Okay? You can tell by the way every single person at that office interacts with your animal that they love animals. And they truly believe they're doing the right thing, you guys. They've been very well trained, very well indoctrinated. It's just like the nurses that you know, believe in vaccines, and the doctors that believe in vaccines. Doesn't make them all bad. Not all of them have the bead on how bad these things are. They truly believe they're doing the right thing. Now, I'm just always under the assumption, and we shouldn't just assume, right? But I'm always under the assumption that when we're doing a medical read, that spills over on for our animals too. But let's take a separate look at a true story from our creator, our guides, our highest self, universal energy, a true story only about the path moving forward with veterinarian medicine and how our pets are taken care of. Okay, so let's do that with a 7-card spread. We'll get the pathway, which gives us the overall energy that's driving the pathway, and we'll get the story around it. So we're going to do that with the Deviant Moon deck. I think this deck will give us a pretty good It's a pretty good energy for our veterinarian animal medicine check-in. So one more shuffle, and I want a true story around our path moving forward with our pets, medicines, and their doctor care. I'm going to cut them 3 times. Temperance. Happy endings. Oh, lots going to be revealed coming up from the surface. There's going to be a big shift in this too. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Okay. And you guys can see that all pretty darn good. All right, so let's start with our energy that drives our pathway, okay? So the energy that's driving our pathway is the King of Cups. All right? And the King of Cups reveals things. There's things under that cloak to be revealed. There's things in that cup to be revealed. You know, there's a lot of reveals that comes with this King of Cups. And it's a highly emotional reveal, okay? So it's going to be just like, well, when people that love their animals, that have been taking their animals faithfully to get these god-awful shots constantly, and let's not forget that in some states, you know, we're forced here for this rabies vaccine. It's a forced vaccination. Because if you don't do it, your town requires a registration. The registration can't happen unless your dog is up to date on their rabies vaccination. If you don't register, then you're going to be fined. If you continue not to register and show proof of your rabies vaccination, then they're going to try to take your animal away from you for acting like you're a bad parent, okay? Now, at the vets, the way the law stands today here in my area, once upon a time, you went to the vet and the vet never reported to your town that you had an animal. That's how it used to be. They weren't required to. And then the state started making a requirement that when you went to the vet with a puppy, that the vet had to report that to your town, that you now have a puppy. And so for a few years it was just the puppy. But if you went to the vet with a dog, like say you got a new dog, you adopted a dog that wasn't a puppy, the vet wouldn't have to report that, because this is just how it started out with the state, right? And then that went on for a few years, and then eventually they changed it so that if you go to the vet with a dog, a puppy, a dog, doesn't matter what age, they're going to report that to the town. They're required to by the state. And then the town's going to send you a notice saying that you need to register your dog with them. And that's going to require a rabies vaccination. So it's forced. It's not okay. So not good. And so a lot of people don't think twice about this, right? They don't realize that the one vaccination of rabies will get their dogs, they'll still hold that immunity their entire life. They don't realize any of this stuff. They also don't realize what's being put into the vaccines. They don't realize the damage it's doing to the dogs. I mean, these vaccines are causing blindness in dogs, neurological disorders, early onset of dis-ease in the body. Some dogs have gone crazy, signs of aggression, dementia in dogs. It happens. And obviously, much earlier death than they should be having, right? Their life expectancy has been shortened. But a lot of people don't realize this. They don't know. They just don't know. Just like they don't know when they take their babies for all of this shit. Well, the energy that's driving this reading is a very uncomfortable amount of things coming up from the surface to be revealed. And that's the energy that's driving, with that King of Cups, that's driving this entire pathway, but it's also driving the story. So all of the reveals is what's going to create the story is starting with Temperance, which that's a total alchemation. It's alchemizing something from what was to something completely different. But it takes time. So over time, something that was is being changed to something that's different. The good news is that Temperance usually does take time. It takes a long period of time. But the good news is that in between Temperance and the happy ending, we have the Tower. And so the Tower shifts so quickly that that's going to speed up the amount of time with Temperance. Does that make sense to you folks? So it's the big reveals that this King of Cups energy that's driving this entire pathway and the story, it's the reveals around the veterinarian medicine that is going to create the complete change of the way things were done into something else, right? Which usually does take a period of time. And it's that's going to have happy feeling outcomes for all the families and the people that love their pets with that 10 of Cups. It's that energy creating both, but directly above that energy, we have the Tower, which is also another higher arcana card, just like Temperance. This, I want you to realize, is a 7-card spread, and we have 4 major arcana cards in it. So that also goes to show that this is a lot faster moving energy, and it's a necessary one because it's a universal karmic change when you have this much going on, right? So the energy of the big reveals around the veterinarian medicine and how animal doctors are working. Lots of reveal to create change. It's going to be that foundation is being broken down. And just like yesterday, it's being broken down from a higher perspective. So it's a higher frequency that's tearing down the old way of doing it. Now, some people within that system have already seen how broken that system is, and they've jumped ship, and they're already talking, and there are people in the midst of jumping ship now. And those people will help lend power to that system crumbling down. But what I want you to really take note of with this Tower card is that in this deck, if you look, the reason why this Tower is coming down isn't as much due to the unstable foundation that just simply wasn't working, but it's because of a higher frequency, a higher vibration. It's because of the light, right? So in this particular card, you could look at that as anything. You could say, depending on how you look at things, oh, that's an eyeball, and that's an all-seeing eye, tearing down the illusion of what this Tower represented. That's the higher power, right? That's Christ in consciousness. That's your source energy. Or you might even say that's other beings from different dimensions that have a higher perspective or whatever. But the fact is, this Tower is being crumbled from a higher perspective, right? So the higher perspective, the higher frequency, the higher vibration, but also the higher knowledge. So as that is torn down, it's not being torn down because we're saying, oh, the dogs are getting sick, the cats are getting sick. So this isn't working. We don't trust it anymore. And now we've got to figure something else out. This is being torn down from a place of, this system isn't working. You guys know it. Some of you have jumped ship already. Some of you are in the midst of jumping ship. You're sharing your knowledge because you finally woke up. I mean, if you look at this guy's hair, it's lit up. The guy that's jumping, I don't know if you can see it, but his hair is lit up. So he finally woke up and he's getting the hell out of Dodge. Like, I just woke up to the fact that this industry that I work within is bad. And I'm getting the hell out. And then he's going to share his story, right? So it's going to be torn down with alternatives. We're not going to have an interim. There's no interim waiting. So it will move quicker because this system will crumble, but the alternatives are already being made available or are available. And we will get a happy ending. And the reason why this is all happening, you guys, is because of the world. So think about this. Our earth is shifting in vibration. Our consciousness is shifting in vibration. People are shifting in vibration. The animals are also shifting in vibration. Everything about the world, the elements are shifting. The water is shifting in vibration. The air is shifting in vibration. The sun, the moon, the stars, every single thing, all the elements, all of everything is shifting in vibration. This is karmic and we can't keep going on this way. All right? Now remember with this Tower card that says that system is crumbling, that is 16. So break that down. That's 1 plus 6 is 7. That is, seek the information and you shall be able to find out that this system is already crumbling. Okay? So that we should be able to find some proofs that it's crumbling. And I know there's already holistic vets that have been going up for years and years and years. The problem is we don't always have them in our area. And the other problem is our towns don't necessarily accept. They don't care if you take your dog to a holistic person or whatever. They want that damn rabies shot proof, right? So, that's where temperance has to come in and alchemize things to make things better, because above temperance, balance has got to come in. And right now, the reason why things are so off balance is it's all about money. You know? And we know that. You and I, we all know that. This is just confirming what we already know. Big Pharma makes a shitload of money off of our pets and getting our pets sick, just like they make a shitload of money off of getting us sick and our kids sick. And our veterinarians get kickbacks for all of that stuff, just like our doctors get kickbacks for all of that stuff. So the imbalance really is, it's all driven by money. It's all driven by money. And that's what the system is based on. And that's why it has to come down. Because a higher perspective would be based on health, right? That system would be based on health alone, not on money. And so this tower is crumbling because it's based in a system that's all about getting rich. And it's very imbalanced. It's very imbalanced. But according to this reading, though, temperance has been working its magic for a very long time. Right? So, and now it's being sped up with this Tower card right in between that and a happy ending. So that's good. We know that we've got the world on our side. We have spirit on our side. We have the earth on our side. We have other people on our side. And everything is shifting. Everything is shifting. And, you know, that's the world. That's 21. That breaks down to a 3. Rejoice that we're finally getting to this place, because they've been dumping more and more vaccines into our animals, just like they've been dumping more and more vaccines into our children. And so rejoice. This is very karmic process, very karmic. And we do see good outcomes, that the way this institution was built is crumbling, and it's going to end with this 10 of Cups in a way that makes us all very, very happy. And right above the ending, it's the 0 point, okay? It's the Fool. So right above the people rejoicing, we have the Fool, which is the 0 point. That's very high vibrational. Don't be foolish in the meantime. Don't be foolish, okay? So know that the vibration of the Fool in this deck is super, super high vibrational. The Fool is a very high vibration. The warning in this deck is don't be foolish, okay? So protect your animals. Don't take them into dangerous situations. Don't do anything right now with those animals before this ending comes that would put them in harm's way, okay? Because there is still a danger of whatever they're doing that would make our animals, this imbalance, and I did mention it, it makes, it's shown that some dogs become aggressive after shots. But there is something in this imbalance that they're doing above our heads right now that is harmful. It makes the animals act out. Okay? So let's get a little bit of a beat on that. But know that this is shifting. This is ending. This is ending, you guys. And I want to pull this up because I want a fuller story on this. So I'm going to pull all of this stuff up. But don't forget that Tower card went diagonally up to that too, right? So that higher perspective is going to point this out. And that's also part of what's making the shift. I think it's probably being pointed out right now because everything above us is actually happening right now. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, everything's kind of in motion at this time. But let's get a beat a little bit more on this. Please and thank you. A little bit more information right there. We're just going to pull a couple of cards. And don't be foolish. Be very protective and take care of your pets. There's something going on right now that can make them both aggressive and harm them. If you look, like one of these little fish is trying to bite him and the other one looks like it's being harmed itself. So it's an interesting card, right? So we have to be very careful. We don't want to be foolish with our pets. We want to make sure that our pets are getting their protection and their care, but we want to be very, very careful about what it is that we're doing with them. This is like a warning to us. So let's just get a couple more cards. When I think of that, I think, maybe we should back off on the fish that we're giving our dogs. I don't know. But this is just like I'm looking at this and fish come from the water and this is fish. And we do know that sometimes there's a lot of mercury, perhaps in particular fish from different areas or whatever. That could be telling us to watch the type of water that we're giving our pets, because perhaps our tap water is contaminated. Maybe get our tap water tested. Definitely don't give city water, right? Watch the type of water that we give. Watch the type of the amount of fish that we're giving. Perhaps this is even talking about giving fish oil, because that can help with the dog's eyes, brain, cognitive. So there's a lot that we can see in this card. That's why I just want to get a couple more. But let's all be really, let's check into our animals' diets. I know I already do that, and I bet all of you guys do too. But this is probably just validation for all of us that we do. and give these animals what they need nutritionally and vibrationally. So I give my pooch, he loves it, and so do the goats. They come right over to me to receive hands-on healing. They love it. Plus I give them distance healing and heal the land and stuff. They love that. So don't forget to give your animals frequency healing, and you can play frequencies and vibrations for them. There's also tuning forks that we could get. There's a lot of options there, so let's take it all to heart, okay? And we'll get a couple more cards here. One more shuffle, you guys, as I've babbled. I believe the energy has gotten into the cards pretty nicely. Let's give them a cut. Nice. Okay. All right, so yes, directly underneath the Fool card, which I just gave all of the things that this card could be meaning, right? So directly underneath that, we do have that love vibration, that 6, birthing something new, and we've got the new birth here as well. But that 6 of rods, they're letting us know that a new journey has already started in this arena, and that there are new types of medicine out there. There are new vets. See that person there? Maybe not necessarily a vet like you might know, but people out there very well versed, speaking of things, doing things. And so therefore we can educate ourselves just by maybe looking up some of these people, listening to them, using our own discernment, feeling our way through it. But know that this cycle, they're saying, the cycle of the animals, the way that they were taken care of, the veterinarian medicine and the way that they were being taken care of, it's ending because it wasn't working. It really is. We're being told that very clearly. It's ending. So all of the shit that they've done to our animals, that also is ending. And the Ace of Wands says that something much more high vibrational, much more healthy, much more balanced, much more nurturing to our pets it's brought in. It's the new beginning, and it looks as though it's already been birthed. So because of this as well, you guys, so it's already being birthed. That's a good thing. So that's very good. So now I just have one more question before I get off, because this has already gone over an hour, because Lorri talks a lot. Lorri talks a lot. I do. I talk a lot, you guys. I'm a babbler. But you know what's funny? I'm a babbler, but I'm also a very quiet person. So I spend a lot of time in stillness, and it's very needed. But yeah, then there's that whole other piece of me that's very much like this. But it takes the stillness for me to have the energy to be the babbler, right? So my question, you guys, is what we got in our... This is all very assuring, and it's a nice reading and all that. We got in our other reading around our medicine that there had been a harvest of vaccines and medicines. There had already been a harvesting of that. And I want to know, I'm just going to, now that we got this read, I'm going to shuffle these back in. And what I want to know is, have some of these things for the animals already been harvested as well? Because I'm hearing stuff about like an mRNA rabies vaccine and stuff like that. So, you know, there's just a lot of crap out there. And like I said, I don't trust any of them. So, let me just ask, so have some of these, just like with the reading that we did a while back with human vaccinations and medicines, have some of these things already been harvested? Like some of these medicines and vaccines, have they already been harvested and replaced, but we just don't know it yet. Can you give me a yes or a no there, please, when it comes to our animals' medicines? Please and thank you. Yes. So that's what I'm getting, you guys. Take from it what you will. Toss the rest. That's what I'm getting. I'm still not going to get my dog a shot. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But what we just got with this Ace of Cups, which represents love being washed clean, and that's a yes, is that a lot of the medicines that are currently being used for our animals have already gone through a harvest and they've been cleansed. They've been healed. They've been cleaned. That's what I'm getting, you guys. So take from that what you will. I like hearing it. I'm glad. But I'm still not going to get my dog any of that shit. I'm going to just say that, okay? I'm getting a drink of my coffee here. And it's not because I don't trust what the universe says to me. I do. But this is a hill I will die on. You know, I will... We all pick our hills, right? And this, for me, is one of them. And until these things are no longer required, and until they've proven to me in the physical world, in my reality, right now, in front of me, so that I can see it, that this has changed, then I am not going to put my animal at risk. Period. Just like I said, I won't get a jab either, right? So that's just how it is. So I don't know. That's what I'm getting, you guys. I'm getting that there's already been a harvesting of the veterinarian medicine. I'm getting that that system is coming down. It's a higher frequency, tearing it down. I'm getting that a lot will be revealed. I'm getting that it's because this is karmic, like, there is no room in this world with these shifts for an industry to be like this. I'm getting that everybody will be happy. I am getting that we should be, the vibration is lifting with that Fool above us, but we also still need to be cognizant and aware of what it is that we're feeding our animals, what they're getting in their water, that they're getting the proper nutrients. And you know, fish oil is very important for brain health. And that rabies shot, that distemper shot, all of those shots do impact the brain. So, and you know, in this deck, that's the Fool with those fish. So, you guys, if you're not already doing it for your animals, look up the benefits of fish oil. And where you can get, say, fish oil, and, you know, and how much to give your animals. Just look into it. And be aware of the water. You know, some city water and stuff, you've got all that fluoride, you've got chlorine, you know, there's crap in that. God only knows what else, because some states have passed that law where they can take all these dead bodies and pulverize them into fluid and then dump it back into the water system. And that's not a conspiracy theory. That's not black pilling anybody. That's just a fact. And it's been going on for a long time. So that's pretty icky. Especially when you think about, like, you know, the homeless people that have died with maybe God only knows what disease in them, or what drugs in their systems and things like that. And don't forget that they are finding, like, there's a lot of medicine in the sewer systems. And so, like, we really want to be cognizant of our drinking water, and that for our pets as well. So there's all that advice, right? Healthy diet, the oils, the making sure the waters are healthy for our pets. Give them the frequency healings, all of these things. But do know that the system is changing. It's changing from a place of a higher perspective. Temperance has been at it for a while, but the tower is going to help speed up temperance, and the reveals will speed up temperance. And some of those reveals with that Two of Pentacles will show that a lot of what that institution was doing and pumping into your animals was based on money. And they didn't care how uncomfortable, because don't forget that that Fool was diagonally up from that tower. They didn't care how uncomfortable, because the Fool can be very uncomfortable. He's getting bitten, that card, right? They didn't care how uncomfortable it makes the animals. So that'll be revealed, because that reveal was there pushing everything. But according to what I'm getting, some of this has already been cleaned up. But like I said, I need to see it. I need to see it truly to believe it. I trust my team and stuff, but before, I've got to see it. Like I said, this is a hill that I'll die on. And I know that my ego is huge over it because of all the trauma that has been created through those industries, through our medical systems and through our veterinarian systems, any and all medical systems. I've watched too many animals die. I've watched too many people die. I've seen too many people that are injured. I've done too much research. I know too much. I can't forget. I can't look back. And it's a hill I'll die on. And I have got to see the change in full color right in front of me in this 3D world. I have to. That's me. That's me, you guys. That's me being very cynical, because I know that I hold a lot of trauma around this. So it's very much ego for me. But that's where I'm at. And my guides know this. They know this about me. And it's okay for me to be there. It's okay for me to be there. But I thank them very much for the information that they've given us today. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate it very much. Again, that's just what I'm getting, you guys. So take from it what you will and toss the rest. For me, that makes me feel good that this is the direction that's taken place. I feel very good about that. I am very grateful for this message. I have no doubt that things will shift here, because they're shifting everywhere, and I just trust that. I can see that. But I'm still not going to give any of my animals any of that shit. I have to see in living color the change. It can't just be something that's happened in the background that I trust. For me. That's for me. All right, you guys. I love you all very much. Again, this is what I'm getting. Take from it what you will. Toss the rest. Know that I appreciate all of your love and all of your concern and all of your prayers and your support. Please know that I'm sending all of that back to all of you. Know how appreciated you all are. And, yeah, thanks. Thanks just for being you. For those of you that interact with me and we have these conversations and I get to read your comments. You make my day. I love it. I find you all to be a huge blessing. So stay high vibing, stay in that love vibration. Keep doing your spiritual grounding, your spiritual connecting, your spiritual protecting. You're pulling that light and that love into you, filling your home, filling your animals, filling your family, your kids, your land, seeing it go outward to your town, your county, your state, your country, your world. Seeing that go into the earth, filling it so full that now it's radiating out of the world, out of the earth. It's touching everything and anything and everything upon this earth. It's even going through all the different dimensions. It's healing everything. Everything, everything, everything. It's going out, 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 out into the ethers, and it just continues on for infinity, healing for all of those who have and want, who have the desire for to receive the energy, and that want that energy and accept that willingly. And then see yourself filled back up with it again. And depending on when you do it all, and then reground, right? Re-spiritually ground. And depending on when you do it, whether you're doing it before bed, in the morning, during the day, or all of the above, make sure that you stay hydrated. That really does lift your vibration. Therefore, you utilize more fluid. So stay well hydrated, and don't forget to do your earthing. It's incredibly healing and centering for us, especially when we're doing this very high energy work. But stay high vibing, stay in that love vibration. Please don't forget to self-heal. As you're sending all of that outward and you're wishing all of these wonderful things for everything and everyone, just rub your hands together and touch whatever hurts. Set the healing intention for yourself when you're doing your spiritual work of filling yourself with that love and that light. Set that gauge for healing as well. And, don't forget to heal yourself. You're worthy. And, you know who you are. You have a broken foot. Rub your hands together. Heal that foot. See that foot healed every day, okay? I'm sending you so much healing and so much love. I hope you feel better very soon. I hope that foot heals in record time. I'll tell you something, you guys. You don't know this, but this has been since I started my channel. In 2021, I had to go in for surgery. I had a giant cyst removed out of my stomach. And I never mentioned it to you guys. And I still came on, and you guys didn't know, but it was a giant cyst. And it was attached to the only ovary I had left, and my ovary was the size of like a melon, and not in good shape at all. And the cyst I looked like I was 10 or 11 months pregnant. You guys couldn't tell that because you just would see me from like the chest up, but it was a giant cyst. When they got it out of me, the cyst alone was 22 pounds. And you just think about that for a minute. My kid was 8 pounds, 3.5 ounces, and 20 and a half inches long. And the total weight that I gained carrying him between the placenta and the water and all of that was 15 pounds. And I carried a 22-pound cyst and an ovary the size of a melon, and I can't remember what they said the ovary weighed. But it was really hard. I couldn't it was hard. I couldn't even eat, you guys, right? My stomach, everything was being so squished by this cyst that even putting anything into my stomach, my stomach would fuss saying, I'm hungry, but I couldn't really put anything in there. A couple of bites and I would feel very compact. I can't even describe it really. It was hard because carrying that around on your front like that, I already have some back issues, and everything, was extra work, seriously, and it was really draining me. But I had that removed, and they had to do this big incision, right? And so in healing that, I don't take medicine, right? So they wanted to send me home with pain meds and all that crap, but I won't take it. I just don't like to. It's not good for you, and it's not a vibrational alignment for me, and then I have to detox it all out. It's just not good for you. And my stomach, my body has always said, this is poison, don't take it, because I revolt. I will throw up anyways. It's really bad. So I come home without whenever I have surgery, I don't take anything for pain. But I have the healing ability, right, with my own hands. So I used that. I used the power of positive affirmations and just a good attitude. I used healing frequencies that I played all the time. And I used my crystals and stuff. And I allowed myself rest. And I was actually a very good patient, whereas in the past, I wasn't necessarily. But this time, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take good care of myself. And if everything just goes to hell around me, the good news is it will all just be sitting there waiting for me when I'm ready to take care of it, right? So I even, like when people would say to me, how are you doing? I was very honest. I wouldn't say, oh, I'm fine, I'm fine. I would say, well, my pain level is right here, and I think gauge it by what I believe is that is a good thing, because if I'm at this pain level, that means I've done this amount of healing, right? And that's how I would always look at it, with that positive. And I had said to my doctor when I had that surgery, he said I would be laid up for, I would be on restrictions for 6 months. I would be on heavy duty restrictions for 3 months. And I said to him, I'm going to heal so fast, you're not going to believe it. And he kind of chuckled. And I went back to him for my 6 weeks checkup. Now, remember, I'm using Reiki, universal healing, the power of my own hands. I'm playing frequencies. I'm laying crystals all around me and on my belly, right? I'm allowing myself proper sleep. I'm doing the positive affirmations. I'm still doing the light work that I always do, right? And, I'm compiling all of this together, and I went in for my 6-week checkup, and he just about shit himself. He's checking me over. He's like, oh my goodness, the incision looks wonderful. And he's like feeling my belly over. He's like, cough, cough. My gosh, your muscles are healed. I can't believe this. This is crazy. What have you done? And I said, I've taken care of myself. I've allowed myself rest and sleep. I've eaten healthy. I've drank plenty of fluids. I'm taking my supplements. I'm doing frequency healing. I'm a Reiki master teacher. I use universal life force healing on myself. I pull light every single day. I am using my crystals, frequencies, and positive affirmation, and all of that. And he just looked at me. He just looked at me, and he's like, well, I'm not going to argue it, because you're just the proof. Whatever you're doing, it's clearly worked. I've never seen anything like this, he said. And so he's like, all right, I'll be right back. He was very happy for me. And then the nurse that was in there with me, when he walked out, she looked at me and she goes, I'm learning Reiki. And I said, yeah, awesome. That's awesome. So she was taking the classes, and she was learning Reiki at that time. So she was all smiles, because she truly believed in all of that. And he's a wonderful doctor. He's just lovely. He really is like this little earth angel, and you feel that coming from him. But, just keep doing those things, you guys. Don't leave yourself out of the loop. These things work, right? They do work. And I'm proof of it, and so are a lot of other people. So that's just a reminder to heal yourself. Heal yourself, heal yourself, heal yourself. And then send it out, but don't forget yourself in the process. Set those intentions that as you're doing all of this and you're filling yourself first and you're sending it out, make sure you're very intentional that you're healing your body. In the evening when you're sitting down and you're just relaxing or whatever, rub your hands together and see your foot healing. And no matter who you are, whatever it is that's going on in your body, just self-heal all the time. I have other things that I'm working on myself personally to self-heal. Some things are more challenging than others, and I get that. At the very least, it will make us feel vibrationally better, right? That's the very least. It can't harm us. It can only help. And at the very least, vibrationally, we will feel better. All right, you guys, I love you. And I'll stop babbling. And I will see you all hopefully tomorrow, but soonish. Okay, you guys, take care.